The night was calm, and the smell of the dinner I had prepared wafted through the kitchen, mixing with the aroma of scented candles I had lit to create a romantic atmosphere. I was anxious. A whirlwind of expectations filled my heart. I looked in the mirror, fixed my hair, and wore that dress that always caught Alex's eye. Today will be special, I thought, as my heart raced at the idea of a future alongside him. He had always said I was the love of his life, and each word echoed in my mind like a promise. Hours later, the clock was almost 8, and I had prepared everything: a candlelit dinner, a bottle of wine, and soft music playing in the background. I checked my phone once more, but Alex still hadn't arrived. He must be stuck in traffic, I thought, trying not to let anxiety take over. Still, the restlessness grew. What could be delaying him? I decided I needed a bit of fresh air. I put on a jacket and stepped outside, thinking of taking a quick walk around the neighborhood. The sky was starry, and the night breeze brought me a sense of tranquility, but at the same time, a pang of unease. As I walked, my mind wandered to how I wished the night would end. Maybe a marriage proposal, I imagined, smiling to myself. When I passed by the restaurant where Alex had mentioned he would be with friends, a strange sensation hit me. I looked inside, just out of curiosity, and felt my heart stop. There he was, leaving the restaurant, laughing and chatting with an unfamiliar woman. My body froze. It couldn't be. The woman was beautiful, with long hair and a seductive smile. I knew my world was about to crumble. No, this can't be happening, I murmured to myself as a wave of despair washed over me. The ground seemed to open beneath my feet, and reality transformed into a nightmare. Alex, the man I loved, was with another woman. Tears began to slide down my face, but I couldn't move. I just watched as they walked away, disappearing into the darkness of the night. Finally, I managed to compose myself and ran back home, my heart in pieces. The only thing I wanted was to call Alex, to ask him what was going on, but the pain held me back. I picked up my phone, but my hands trembled. He won't answer, I thought, knowing that betrayal was the only explanation. What should I do now? I felt so lost, so desolate. The memories of the happy moments we had together mixed with frustration and betrayal. Why would he do this? The question echoed in my mind, like a mantra that found no answer. The idea of confronting him terrified me, but the pain I felt was unbearable. He always seemed so perfect, so in love with me. How could I have been so naive? If only I had paid more attention, I thought, as I tried to wipe away the tears that streamed down my face. I sat on the couch, the emptiness around me palpable. Every corner of the house, every object seemed to remind me of him and what I believed we had. And now, that image of him with another woman consumed me. My idealized future crumbled in an instant, and uncertainty enveloped me like a dense fog. What would I do next? I needed answers, but the only thing I was sure of was that secrets, now, lurked in the shadows, ready to be revealed. The light of day seemed relentless, illuminating every corner of my pain. The sun streamed through my bedroom window, and I wanted to crawl under the covers as if I could hide from the world and all its cruelty. However, I needed to face reality. Alex's betrayal still echoed in my mind, and the desire to understand everything pushed me out of bed. I met Jordan at the cafe on the corner, a place that had always been our refuge. He was sitting at a table in the corner, nervously fiddling with his coffee cup. When he saw me, he raised his hand in a greeting gesture, but his eyes carried a concern that made me hesitate for a moment. As I approached, I could see he was anxious too. "Hi, Maya. How are you?" he asked, his voice low, as if fearing to awaken a sleeping monster. "How am I?" I laughed, but it was an empty laugh. I saw Alex with another woman, Jordan. "How do you think I am?" Jordan's expression turned to pain, as if my words were a blow. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. It was last night, right?" "Yes." "I don't know what to do. I can't believe he would do this." "Are you sure it was what it seemed?" he asked cautiously. "Maybe he has an explanation." "An explanation? What kind of explanation justifies going out with someone who's not me?" Frustration began to rise within me, and I didn't want to take it out on Jordan, but the pain made me more impulsive. "Calm down, Maya. I just want you to think before taking any action. He might have a reason. Let's figure this out together, okay? He took my hand and squeezed it, offering some comfort. But inside, a storm was brewing. I needed to know. I needed to confront Alex and understand what was happening. That day, the idea of confronting him consumed me. After much thought, I decided it was time to act. As I got ready, a wave of nervousness washed over me. What would I say? How would he react? The meeting took place in a park, a place we used to visit together. When I saw him approaching, my heart raced. He had a smile on his face, but I knew that behind it lay an abyss of uncertainties. Hey, love. You look so pale. Are you okay? Alex asked, concern evident in his voice. No, I'm not okay. We need to talk, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but the emotion almost betrayed me. About what? He tried to hide it, but I could sense the tension in his body. About you and that woman. My words came out harsher than I intended. Who was she? What? Which woman? He frowned, as if he was truly confused. The one you left the restaurant with last night. I saw you, Alex. There's no point in denying it. He swallowed hard, and for a moment, his expression changed. Maya, you don't understand. I can explain. Explain. I pleaded, desperate. Because I can't believe you would do this to me. I didn't do anything wrong. She's just a work colleague. We were discussing a project. A project? In a restaurant at night? I couldn't contain my disbelief. Do you really think I'm going to believe that? He started to fidget, running his hand through his hair. Please, don't make a scene. I don't want this to ruin everything. Ruin? You've already ruined it, Alex. I don't know who to trust anymore. I felt like a stranger inside my own body. Every word that came out of my mouth only left me more confused. I'm not hiding anything from you. He seemed genuinely frustrated now. You're being irrational. Irrational? Am I irrational for having seen what I saw? Tears began to slide down my face. I just want the truth. If you love me, tell me what's going on. He hesitated, his eyes drifting away from mine. A deep silence followed, and in that moment, I knew things weren't as he said. As I walked away, a determination began to grow inside me. I wasn't going to be swayed by lies or empty promises. I needed to investigate, to uncover the truth on my own. And if Alex was hiding something, I was willing to dig up every piece of that truth, no matter how painful it might be. The next morning was a whirlwind of emotions. As I got ready for work, my gaze lost in the reflection in the mirror, I tried to process Alex's betrayal. My heart still ached, and each beat seemed to echo the image of him leaving the restaurant with that woman. Insecurity settled in me like an unwanted visitor. What did I really know about him? The trust one had built over months crumbled with every memory. When I met Jordan at our usual cafe, a mix of relief and anxiety washed over me. He was my safe harbor, the only person I could fully trust. As soon as he sat down at the table, the worry in his eyes made me feel that the truth was about to be revealed. Maya, you look like a ghost, he commented, picking up his coffee cup and watching me closely. I tried to force a smile, but it vanished as soon as I remembered Alex. Jordan, I don't know how to handle this, I confessed, my voice trembling. I saw Alex with another woman last night. And now I'm starting to suspect everything and everyone, even Samantha. Ease up. You need to be sure of what you're thinking. Samantha is your friend, he replied, trying to calm me. But the image of Alex and Samantha together wouldn't leave my mind. But why would she be so close to him? He always told me she was just a friend. I insisted, frustration rising. What else could I think? I can't ignore this feeling that something is wrong. Jordan took a deep breath, as if weighing his words. Look, maybe you're misinterpreting the situation. It could just be a coincidence, you know? They might be getting together for a reason that doesn't involve you. Do you really think I'm being dramatic? I asked, feeling a knot forming in my throat. I can't just ignore the signs. Everything seems so disconnected now. I'm not saying you're being dramatic, just that you need to be careful. Sometimes things aren't as they seem, he replied, concern still visible on his face. What do you plan to do? The question hung in the air like a shadow. What did I want? A confrontation? An explanation? I just wanted answers. I think I need to follow Alex, I said, determined. I need to see with my own eyes what's going on. Jordan frowned. Maya, this could be risky. What if you get hurt more in the process? I don't care, I replied, determination swelling inside me. I need to know the truth. I can't live like this. The conversation fell into silence for a moment, and I could feel the tension in the air. Jordan finally nodded, albeit reluctantly. Okay, but you're not alone in this. If you go, I'll go with you. No, I'm going to do this alone, I affirmed, resolute. I need to face this. And if I'm wrong then, I'll have to deal with it another way. That day, the routine felt endless. My focus was distant, and the hours dragged on as I thought about my plan. When the time finally came to follow Alex, my heart raced, not just from anxiety, but also from the anticipation of what I might discover. I followed him from a distance, adrenaline coursing through my veins. He headed to a cafe I knew well, and my stomach churned as I realized that Samantha was there, waiting for him. What I saw next left me paralyzed. They embraced as if they were more than friends. My chest tightened, and a wave of confusion hit me. What did this mean for us? I decided I needed to talk to Samantha, but I didn't know how. I went to a cafe she used to frequent, trying to act normally, a nervous smile on my lips. The expectation that she might give me answers mingled with the fear that the truth could be even more devastating. When Samantha arrived, she looked stunning, but there was something in her gaze that told me she was hiding something too. Hey, Maya. What a surprise to see you here, she exclaimed, but there was a hint of nervousness in her voice. Hi, Samantha. I wanted to meet up to talk. How have you been? I asked, trying to keep the conversation light, my heart racing. Oh, the same old routine. And you? She replied, avoiding my gaze as she stirred her coffee. I'm dealing with some things, I said hesitantly. Have you seen Alex lately? She hesitated, a slight blush creeping onto her cheeks. Yeah, he's been busy. Really? He told me he was with friends. I didn't know you were part of that group, I said, forcing a smile, but the tension was palpable. Oh, yeah, just some outings. It's nothing major, she replied, clearly uncomfortable. The conversation was getting strange, and I could sense there was more behind her words. What was she hiding? The hours dragged on as I tried to process the reality I found myself in. The truth about Alex and Samantha felt like a shadow looming over me, a weight that kept me from breathing normally. Even so, I couldn't just ignore the signs piling up, like pieces of a twisted puzzle. The betrayal wasn't just a stab in the back, it was a storm threatening to engulf everything I knew. I had decided I needed to know more. With a determined look, I grabbed my phone and sent a message to Jordan. We need to talk. It's urgent. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. Where are you? Can I come over now? His quick response comforted me a bit. Jordan had always been my safe harbor, and I knew I could count on him. When he arrived, I noticed his expression was laden with worry. Maya, what happened? He sat down next to me on the couch, and I took a deep breath, trying to gather my words. I saw Alex with Samantha, Jordan. And it's not just that. I feel like there's something more between them. I can't shake the feeling that they're hiding something from me. The anguish in my voice was undeniable, and I saw Jordan's expression harden. I don't want you to jump to conclusions without proof, Maya. But if you really feel like something is wrong, then we need to investigate. His gaze was firm, and I knew he was ready to support me in whatever I decided to do. In the days that followed, a new kind of determination grew within me. I needed to find out what was happening. My heart raced, and my mind buzzed with questions at every step. I decided that the first thing I would do was meet Samantha again. I couldn't believe my friend could be involved in this, but the evidence was pushing me in that direction. We scheduled a coffee at our usual spot, a small bistro that had always been our refuge. As I waited for her, my stomach was in knots. What would I say? How could I approach the subject without her realizing I suspected her? As soon as Samantha arrived, her smile lit up the room, but I felt torn. Hi, Maya. How are you? She asked, sitting down at the table. Hi, Sam. Well, how about you? The conversation flowed naturally, but there was a weight to the words I couldn't ignore. You seem a bit tense. Everything okay? She looked me in the eyes, and for a moment, I almost backed down. Actually, I wanted to ask you about Alex. Her features changed instantly, and I realized I had hit a sensitive spot. Alex? What about him? Her voice was a bit sharper, and the way she looked away alarmed me even more. I saw you with him, and, well, I'm confused. What's going on between you two? The words came out in one breath, and the silence that followed was deafening. Maya, you know he's my friend. There's nothing between us. The defensiveness in her response was palpable, and I couldn't fully believe her. You can understand me, can't you? I saw you two together, and it doesn't seem like just friendship. The tension at the table was almost unbearable, and Samantha began to fidget, nervously playing with her hands. Look, Maya, you know things aren't that simple. Sometimes people have secrets, but I can't talk about it. Her gaze was filled with desperation, and it left me unsettled. Secrets? I repeated, as if the word carried special weight. What else are you hiding, Sam? She hesitated, and in that moment, I realized there was something much deeper at play. The conversation was becoming a trap, and I didn't want her to slip away. I just don't want you to get hurt. It's complicated, Maya. Complicated? How so? We're talking about my relationship, my life. I need to know. Frustration and pain were building up inside me, and the thought of more lies was unbearable. Maybe it's better if you talk to Alex. I can't be the intermediary here. Samantha's response left me even more confused. There was a chasm between us, and I realized that the friendship I thought I had was crumbling. After that meeting, the feeling of betrayal extended not only to Alex, but also to Samantha. And there was something else that troubled me. Lucas, my boss, had always been protective of me. He seemed to know everything that was happening, and that put me on alert. That night, as I tried to sleep, my mind wouldn't stop spinning. The idea of confronting Lucas began to take shape. He might have information I still didn't have, and I needed to know if he was involved in this web of lies. Lucas, can you help me with something? I asked when I saw him the next morning at the office. He was reviewing some papers, and his gaze quickly lifted to meet mine. Of course, Maya. What do you need? His tone was friendly, but there was something almost enigmatic in his expression. I'm having some insecurities about Alex. You know him well. Have you noticed anything strange about him? He hesitated for a moment, as if carefully considering his words. Maya, I don't know if this is something I should comment on, but what you're feeling might be more complicated than you imagine. Those words left me unsettled. What did he know? What else was he hiding? The conversation was just beginning, and I felt the shadows around me becoming more threatening. My heart raced as I reviewed the messages on my phone. Alex's and Samantha's words pulsed on the screen like an echo of betrayal. Each notification was a stab to my chest. I felt my stomach churn as I read the messages filled with affection and intimacy they exchanged. How could I have been so blind? What had I missed to not notice the signs before? Tears began to slip down my face, but I forced myself to stop. I needed answers. Jordan, we need to talk, I said to my best friend, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked at me, concerned, and I knew he sensed the gravity of the situation. We met at a quiet cafe, away from the city's noise. The aroma of fresh coffee enveloped the space, but I couldn't taste the drink. Have you heard from Alex? He asked hesitantly. Yes, and it's not good. I took a deep breath, trying to gather my courage. I found messages from him with Samantha. They have something very close. Jordan, I don't know how to deal with this. He frowned, clearly worried. Maya, this is very serious. Are you sure you're interpreting everything correctly? It's impossible to misinterpret messages that talk about longing and meetups, I replied, my voice thick with emotion. I can't let them get away with this. We need to do something. Jordan nodded, and I realized he was supporting me. Okay, what do you have in mind? Let's confront them. I need everyone to be together so I can expose everything I've discovered. I want Alex, Samantha, and Lucas to be there. We need a place where they can hear the truth without interruptions. A bar, then? It's a good place for that, he suggested, and I agreed. I'll help set it up, but you need to be prepared for what they will say. The idea of confronting them made my heart race, but I knew it was the only way to deal with this situation. The following hours were a mix of anxiety and determination. I made a mental list of everything I wanted to say, rehearsing each word in my mind. Finally, the night of the meeting arrived. The bar was lively, with music playing in the background and laughter echoing throughout the place. The vibrant atmosphere contrasted sharply with the whirlwind of emotions I was feeling. I sat at a central table, and with each passing minute, my heart seemed to race faster. When Alex and Samantha arrived, they were laughing and chatting as if nothing was happening. My stomach churned at the sight of them together. Lucas arrived shortly after, a confident smile on his face. I looked at Jordan, who was beside me, and he gave me a slight nod, as if to say it was time. "Hey, everyone!" I started, trying to keep my voice steady. "Thank you for coming. I have something important to discuss with you all." Alex looked at me, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "Maya, what's going on?" "I know about you and Samantha," I declared, my voice echoing in the bar. An instant silence fell, and I felt all eyes turn to us. I read the messages. There's no denying it. Samantha tried to justify herself, but I wouldn't let her. "You don't need to speak. I already know that you and Alex are seeing each other. What confuses me even more is that you were my friend. How could you do this?" Lucas, who had been silent until then, decided to intervene. "Maya, maybe there's an explanation for all this." I glared at him, anger boiling inside me. "An explanation? You're involved in this too, aren't you? Why didn't you tell me? You knew everything and chose to stay silent." "Calm down. Let's take a breath." Lucas tried to calm the situation, but I didn't want calm. What I wanted was the truth. "I don't want calm. I want answers," I shouted, feeling the tension rise. "I want everyone here to take responsibility for their actions. It's time to stop hiding secrets in the shadows." The bar continued to thrum around us, but at that moment, all that mattered was the truth I was about to unearth. The atmosphere in the bar was heavy. The smell of alcohol and cigarette smoke lingered in the air, and the lights flickered almost hypnotically. I looked around, feeling that each of my heartbeats echoed louder than the previous one. Alex was beside me, a confused and nervous expression on his face. Samantha, in the corner, seemed a shadow of her former self, and Lucas, my boss, was there, but was no longer the man I admired. He was a traitor. "You can't just walk away from this, Alex," I said, trying to keep my voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside me. "You betrayed me. And worse, you made me believe we were okay." Alex took a deep breath, trying to articulate a response that wasn't just an attempt to justify himself. "Maya, you don't understand. I never wanted this to happen. It was just a confusion." "Confusion?" I laughed, but the laugh came out bitter. "A confusion is forgetting to buy bread. What you did is betrayal. And it wasn't just to me, it was to Samantha too. And now, what do you have to say about Lucas?" Samantha flinched, as if she was expecting to be hit by a wave of anger that had already passed. "Maya, please don't involve me in this." I didn't know he was with you. Lucas told me it was just work, that he wanted to help me get into the market." "Oh, so you were manipulated too?" I said, with a touch of irony in my voice. "Everyone here is a victim except the real culprit, Lucas?" Lucas, who had seemed oblivious to what was happening until that moment, finally moved. "Maya, you need to understand that this isn't what it seems. I did what I did to protect you and Samantha. There was much more at stake than you realize." "Protect?" "You were playing with our lives, Lucas. You used the trust one had in you to manipulate all of this. Now I understand why you were so protective. You were hiding your own secrets." The tension in the air was palpable. Jordan, my best friend, who was next to me, seemed as frustrated as I was. "Maya, you have to let this out. They need to hear what you have to say." "Yes, it's time to take responsibility," I continued, staring at each of them. "Alex, you're not just a traitor. You're someone I thought I loved. Samantha, you were so close to me and didn't have the courage to be honest. And you, Lucas, were deceiving me under the guise of your protection. Lucas tried to dodge once again. Maya, I always wanted what was best for you. Everything I did was for you. And that's no excuse. I shouted, my voice trembling with anger and frustration. From now on, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I can't trust anyone here. The words came out like a relief, but the pain was still present. Alex tried to reach for me, but I pulled away. No, Alex. Don't do that. Don't try to touch me. You've already destroyed everything we had. Samantha looked at me, tears in her eyes. Maya, I'm sorry. I truly didn't know. I thought Alex was being honest with me. And you really believed that? I asked, the hardness in my voice softening a bit. Many times, people tell us what we want to hear. But the truth always comes out, doesn't it? Silence descended, heavy and uncomfortable. I realized I needed time to process everything. I'm leaving, I declared, feeling determination grow within me. I don't want to know about you anymore. It's time for me to move on. Jordan came closer to me, placing his hand on my shoulder. Maya, you're stronger than you think. And I'm here to support you, no matter what happens. As I walked out of the bar, I felt the weight of the secrets and betrayals slowly lifting. The pain was still there, but a new sense of freedom was beginning to form in my heart. I was determined to rise again. New opportunities were waiting for me, and I was ready to embrace them.